Hey guys, Rebel Engine 95, Corner Live from the County Prison Cell. So today, this is a little bit of a stretch, not too dissimilar from Marth Aragon, but it's another one of those, shall I say, less than, closer to human fights. Um, and there's this idea that I don't like these, and that's not true per se. It's just they're really hard to analyze. Um, like it's really hard to give information on the character when it's like, oh, this guy is he's a really good fighter and he has a gun and he does this and he does that. It's just really hard to it's really hard to analyze that and like make it sound like, especially when the two characters are similar and then it just sounds like you're describing the same person. The one benefit is that it's really easier to like decide the winner because the smallest kind of advantage is, bigger when they're closer to being human. But yeah, I've got another fight like that. And this is actually one that I think it's actually kind of it's really great for both the characters involved, and let me explain that. So it's going to be John Wick from, the John Wick franchise versus Agent 47 from the Hitman franchise. So for a really, really long time, Agent 47 was thrown into the mix of one of the guys who should fight Snake. So, Snake versus Chris Redfield, Snake versus Ezio, Snake versus Sam Fisher, and Snake versus Agent 47. These were the big, these were the big kind of Snake fights. And, I think Sam Fisher is pretty definitively the correct one to have, and there's no reason they can't put Snake versus Agent 47 also if they really wanted to. But assuming Snake going against Sam Fisher meant he wasn't going to go against Agent 47, that left there being no real individual character that 47 could fight in his own matchup that would make it really good. Um, because Ezio's got things like Prince, which I've done videos on, um, Prince of Persia, that is. Um, you know, Leon fought Frank West, which, again, I didn't think that was that great, but they chose that. So, Chris could fight somebody of the same, not like somebody, not Frank West, but he could fight, like, you could just put Leon against another zombie killing guy. Um, or Chris versus another zombie killing guy. So it kind of left Agent 47 without a combatant. And then, now that now that John Wick's had three movies and probably gonna have more, I think it's pretty. I think he's been in enough. There's enough material to kind of say like, okay, these two would probably do really well against each other. Um, but yeah, like I said about the characters being too closer to human, and it makes it really hard to analyze. Because of that, and I've done this before, but because of that, I'm going to skip the individual character analysis and where I like, okay, let's talk about John first, then let's talk about 47, then let's talk about how the fight's going to go. I'm just going to talk about the fight the whole time and bring up points about the characters, within that. Plus I'm not the greatest at explaining somebody's abilities or explaining somebody's backstory, so if you're looking for information on John Wick or Agent 47, this probably isn't the video to watch. But this is just how I think the fight would go. So, full disclosure right off the bat, I think Agent 47 is going to win. I'm going to get into the reasons for that, throughout the video, but essentially, I think it's important to state that the location of this fight would probably be taken into consideration. Um, there's people seem to think location doesn't like they don't enter that into the equation. From what I've heard from them, they do. It's just that they specifically pick a location where both characters can, where like one character's not handicapped, right? a location where both characters can be at their fullest, fullest ability. So like, if this fight took place in an empty room, John would be able to do whatever he wanted, right? And Agent 47 could still fight, but he loses a lot of what makes him, so deadly. But if this took place in something like a big city, which I think it would or would have to, then both of these characters would be able to fight, at their fullest ability. And I think, to be honest, I think that would be fitting considering the second two John Wick movies take place in a city, and Agent 47's had all of these different missions in giant cities. So it's pretty. I think it's pretty fair to say that's a good neutral location for both of them. That being said, if that were the location that they did, um, that contributes to 47 winning this because, well, both of these characters have outstanding hand to hand ability. They have really good gunsmanship and everything, masters of improvised weaponry, all that sort of thing. And one advantage I think two advantages I'll say John has are he has this next gen bulletproof lining in his clothes, right? Which is gonna let him just eat a bunch of bullets. And secondly, it's just his tenacity and unwillingness to die. He just doesn't. He gets shot, stabbed, whatever, and he just drags himself through. He just kind of barrels through, grits his teeth, and just fights his way through. Waves of assassins. And because of that, 47's gonna eat him alive. Because this is a guy who makes no attempt to preserve or hide himself at all. And 47's the kind of guy who can, like, with his skill set, he's not a. So not only is he an expert in hand to hand, an expert in gunsmanship and all of that, and improvised weaponry, he's also, masterfully stealthy. That's why they wanted to put him against Snake. He's a master of disguise, a master of sabotage. Uh, he's just got this much bigger, diverse skill set that, if allowed to be applied, would, just like John just wouldn't really have much of a chance, I don't think. He'd be able to fight him again. It's just that tenacity of this guy's been hit. John's been hit by cars. He's been shot, stabbed, and he just drags himself through New York or wherever he is, and just bleeding and limping, and then but another guy wants to kill me. I guess I'll fight him too. Like, he just so it'd definitely be harder to kill, but 47's the kind of guy who can come into your neighborhood, kill 15 people, and nobody would ever know he was there. You'd see him 5 times a day, and you'd never know he was there. Like, he's just that insane, perfect. Like, he just makes the scenario that most efficiently and effectively kills the target without any risk to himself happen. And with that, I think makes him probably just a more complete and better agent than John. I mean, John's just an assassin. Not now, just an assassin is nothing to sneeze at. It's fantastic, but he's not he's not the guy who's setting up murders of high fucking government officials and places of maximum security and never being seen. It's just not. That's just not what happens. Um. Plus, I mean, technically, 47 is superhuman. He's been genetically modified. It's what the 47 in his name. In some incarnations, it applies to that he's the 47th attempt at the perfect agent, and in other incarnations, he's given 47 extra chromosomes, which would probably just mean he would die during birth, but whatever. 3 chromosomes, and with a person having Down syndrome, 47 doesn't seem like it's magically gonna help him. But yeah, he's been given in senses, reflexes, things like that. So he is technically superhuman. Um, but plus, I think experience plays a role in this. I mean, we don't exactly know how many years John's been in the business, and we don't exactly know how, like, the exact things he's done. There's the whole the bodies he buried during the impossible task where, laid the foundation for the, but we don't really know exactly everything that was. Um so I guess if we took Keanu Reeves' real life age and applied it to the character, then he couldn't have been in for more than so many years. But like when you look at all of the missions that Agent 47's done in all of the different games, I think that probably compiles to a better degree of experience. So, and before somebody points out, like, well, if, John's got a bulletproof jacket, he can't lose. This is where the improvised weaponry comes in. Because, yeah, both of these characters can masterfully use whatever they can get their hands on to kill somebody. The only thing that jacket's gonna block is bullets. It's not gonna block blades or anything like that. That's why he's been stabbed so many times. And well, there is one weapon that 47 carries with him. It's the garrote wire. But you know, I don't think this fight's gonna end like 47's not gonna win just by like running up to John and killing him. He's gonna like sneak up. He's gonna like right when John thinks he's safe, he's gonna like come up as somebody. He's gonna come up disguised as somebody and kill him. And I think throughout the fight, he'd probably be like causing accidents that almost kill John. Like he'll be shooting the tires out of cars so that they come in and hit him, and then he'll survive because he's John Wick. But yeah, that's how I think. But I think 47 wins, like I said, just by, in general, being a more impressive and having a more impressive skill set than John Wick does. But yeah, I think if there is a character that we should face Agent 47 in a death battle, it should be John Wick. Um, so yeah, but anyway, yeah, Verbal Engine 95. See you.